BuzzPOP hari ini kita bakal membedah My Villain Academia Season 5 episod 22. Para panelis kita malam ini terdiri daripada saya, Nadzru Iskandar daripada BuzzPOP TV, Kaki anime kita, Shazli American. What's up bro? How you doing man?
Hello.
Right. Kaki manga kita, Anri Alwi. What's up bro?
Konbanwa. What's up?
Konbanwa. Serta kaki review kita, Nazir Khan daripada Facebook page Screenbite.
Hi. What's up?
What's up?
Hello.
Alright, so we got a very meaty episode this week. So jom kita mulakan perbincangan kita dengan reaksi satu ayat. Okay, so it looks like episod minggu ni sedih gila babi tu, because we finally get to see the origin story ataupun backstory kepada the villain bernama Twice. Episod minggu ini berjudul Sad Man's Parade yang menonjolkan backstory Twice dengan lebih lanjut. So apakah reaksi satu ayat para panelis? Silakan, kita mulakan dengan Aziz, silakan.
Twice. Finally. Dah lama aku tunggu this kind of backstory sejak diperkenalkan season 2 lagi kot. Aku macam, okay, mamak ni apa? So far kita dapat tahu dia trauma sebab dia nampak klon dia bunuh diri sendiri. And now we get to see the whole story, the whole plate actually. And aku macam, okay, so this kind of guy pun ada in the world of hero actually tau. Macam dia kata, kalau kau dah malang tu, malang jugalah. Memang kau tak tahu apa-apa. Macam, alah, aku macam kesian gila hidup Twice ni. So, Twice ni like one of the people yang disakiti become villain tau. Dia bukannya straight out villain. Bukan. Dia asal baik. Dia asal nak tolong sebenarnya. But honestly, aku memang,
Macam dia takut dengan kuasa dia sendiri.
Yes, dia takut kuasa dia. Actually masa first tu dia macam boleh terima, tapi bila dia tak dapat kawal kuasa tu yang buat takut. Sebab dia takut kuasa tu makan diri sendiri. But honestly, memang I really happy with the episode. I will talk more about it lah. But it's very good actually, very good episode this week. Cool.
Seterusnya Shazli, silakan Shazli.
Well, since three of us are wearing black, kebetulan kita tak plan this was kita tak ada macam like, bro, kita pakai hitam ke apa, tak ada. It's like kebetulan macam like
telepati.
Then I was like hoping Nazir will come out with like baju biru ke, like dia pun hitam gelap macam like.
This is my kind of uniform lah, sebab apa, BuzzPOP kan.
Betul lah kan. But anyway, reaksi satu ayat aku ialah finally lah we get to see why Twice is such a big deal and why the Metal Liberation Army ni is like, dia macam like he is the answer to our future problems tau. So macam like apa benda yang dia boleh buat. So rupa-rupanya Sad Man's Parade tu was a fake out lah. Ingatkan it's like, alamak ni drama pukul 7 lagi ke, macam like tiba-tiba aku je move.
It's pretty strong. And nama Sad Man's Parade tu memang unik lah, memang unik. Seterusnya reaksi satu ayat daripada Anri. How does this differ from the manga? Did they leave anything out? Silakan.
I didn't notice if they left out anything. I think this actually played out like how it was played out in the manga. It was actually, to me, was a good transition from manga to anime. I have no complaints at all from this thing. If I have something to describe this episode on Twice, is MVP. He actually leveled the playing field, and we get to see his origin stories. We get to see some action from the bosses. It's a solid episode, solid storytelling, solid plot. Very few things to complain.
Cool. And how many episodes left? 2 atau 3?
Something like that. 2, minimum 3, maximum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or a trailer for the next movie next year. Maybe
not lah. I mean, if last week was about Toga and then this week was about Twice, is the next 3 episodes going to be about one League of Villain member?
I don't think it's for every villain. I don't think it's every villain. I don't think so. I think that next one is about Shigaraki. And
Oh, yes.
Shigaraki, yeah, we see from the preview, right? Tenko Origins, something like that. I don't think we get Spinner and the other guy yet. Because usually when you see the boss lawan kan, usually it's the combination of the whole fight. So after that ends, there's nothing more to progress. So I think we will get probably the two other people
Geten versus
somewhere along
Dabi.
the line. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think something like this is for the main fight with the bosses, and then the aftermath, and then set up for the next season. That's my guess lah.
Okay, cool. Kita ada 2-3 komen daripada penonton di rumah. Pertama, Caleb Paul mengatakan set backstory. Yes, dia macam back to back. Kau dapat Toga punya backstory, kau dah sedih dah. Betul kau kena lagi dengan Twice, kau macam dang. And then next week kita akan dapat Shigaraki. So I look forward to that. Seterusnya, Kudo mengatakan one sentence review. Orang jahat pun ada perasaan, babe, with regards to backstory of Twice. Kemudian Amirul mengatakan R1A slow momentum tapi great backstory. Yes, I feel like this personal moments ni penting dalam character development supaya you care about them even though they're villains. Selama ni kita tengok diorang just like cardboard cutouts. Now you get to know them as the real as a real person. Kemudian
It's one of the reason lah kenapa Joker dengan Harley Quinn is more well accepted than say macam Bane. Bane tak silap aku, dia punya backstory is not so
it's equally good. It's equally good. It's just not been adapted well.
Oh, that means mungkin aku tak
adapted
tengok on dekat komik lah.
Yes. In the
Bane
comic, it's tragic.
Bane is actually underrepresented in the DC universe. He's actually a genius level criminal, and he's very charismatic.
But he's only been shown as a brute yang bodoh yang
Itulah, aku based strictly on kat the movie je.
unfortunate. Yeah, very unfortunate. Okay guys, so dengan itu berakhirlah reaksi satu ayat kita dan kita bakal membincangkan 5 babak menarik daripada episod minggu ini. Babak menarik kita yang pertama adalah tentang Twice Secret Origins, di mana kita mempelajari asal-usul tragic villain bernama Twice ya. Satu quote menarik daripada Twice, dia mengatakan, "That hurts. It hurts so much, but I'm not disintegrating. I've been cautious to not get myself hurt. I was so scared that I might disappear. It's always been that way. I kept making mistakes. I could have found out just by hurting myself, but I chose to run away. So I fell hard and threw my life away. I only found my place after hitting rock bottom." Jadi soalan aku kepada para panelis, apakah pendapat anda tentang asal-usul Twice yang penuh dengan trauma dan tragedi serta revelation bahawa Twice adalah versi yang asal? I think that was the key point lah. So kita mulakan dengan Shaz. Silakan Shaz.
Honestly, to me, I had no doubt that he will be the original. It's more of like, how is he going to resolve dia punya trauma and finally awaken? Because the moment they send clone tu, which is not actually clone but is a representation of what he looks like in real life, we know that Toga will be the key to make him trigger. Tapi rupa-rupanya is those fake clones. I think itu lucu tu. Clone
I
is
think
only
it was the bone breaking. It was the bone breaking.
So
Yeah.
the fake clones, when they break dia punya bones tu at that point of time, which quite amazingly they recovered quite fast kan. That's when he realised that he was the original. Because remember they specifically show flashback tu kenapa kau pakai paper bag tu? Aku takut nanti aku injured, like kalau patah tulang ke apa ke, my clones will disintegrate. Kalau macam video games, the original mungkin hit point dia ada 10,000. Tapi dia punya clone dia mungkin 10 or 20 saja. So sekali kena critical hit macam tu, terus just poof, pecah. Ability semua sama. They can even duplicate themselves. Which kalau kita discuss is probably why they started, sampai bila lah tak akan dapat dia punya arrow betul kan. Which is why one of the reasons why they started arguing lah. Somebody make a mistake, then they start finger pointing, kau. So most likely there was some of them yang masih kepala okey tau. Some of them started pinpointing. So dia orang kata macam we need to make sure that our original guy tak mati. Because remember when he started diverging, they started getting their own memories and everything. So some of them mungkin makin kesewel, some masih sane. So they tie him up to make sure that they know where he is.
Wow.
Last tengok they ended up killing off each other. Member tu tinggal macam like
It's freaky, man. Yeah, man. Tapi aku ingat psikosis dia adalah dia nak tutup muka dia supaya he doesn't split. That's
Yes,
what he said to the guy.
Yes.
It's like I don't want to split, so that's why
Betul.
aku regular.
Dia tak nak split anymore. That's why his entire body semua covered. Padahal dia boleh je keluar clone masih dia pakai baju. So macam like
It's a psychosis lah. It's a
Yes.
mental block in your brain. So macam tu.
Yeah.
Nazir, apakah pendapat kau tentang the tragic backstory and the revelation selepas bone breaking? Silakan.
Macam when the bone breaking tu is the moment of clarity where he feel the true pain tau. Macam selama ni kan on the clone dia nampak tapi dia tak rasa the pain physically. But when the bone breaking dia macam okay, I am the real one. I am the real one. And also to dalam backstory also kita boleh nampak makin banyak dia cerita clone tu makin dia tak dapat kawal tau dengan rompak apa semua. Sebab in the end dia hanya nak someone can talk to. Macam kau tengok masa dekat api tu kan macam apa dia sambil cakap dengan clone tu, clone cakap kau dah malam, memang malam jugalah kan. But honestly macam kita pun masa kita first assume dia pakai suit apa semua to stop himself doing the cloning, but actually it's more mental itself. Macam dia assume okay kalau aku tak kalau tangan kalau mana aku tahu aku tak expose dekat luar aku tak akan buat clone. That is dia punya the final defense of his mental yang dia memang tak nak buat clone lagi dah. But you know in order to get through yourself is to better with yourself. And this one they do a very beautiful actually, a very good rendition. You fight with yourself actually. Bagi aku it's very good actually, very very good. Macam you know dia punya overcome nak protect toga tu, overcome everything. That's the thing. Macam dia nampak apa toga nak kena apa KL tu dia macam kau tak boleh, aku I have to do something. That was very very man, this is very next level shit. Walaupun I know it's slow, but dia punya momentum impact tu was damn big damn big.
Nice. Seterusnya Anri, your thoughts as a manga reader, was this adapted well?
It was adapted well. It goes like this in the comics. But you have to understand one thing about Twice punya power. When he makes a clone of himself, right? His power is basically sama macam Momo tau. Momo creates items through her body DNA. We see Twice kan, he create dia punya copies kan, something falls out from his hand and then jadi macam apa copy of himself. In Naruto, they use chakra. This is something similar. Cuma in Naruto kalau you hempuk apa the shadow clone, dia poof hilang. For Twice punya case kan, if you tumbuk, they will not disperse or cancel dia punya optimization. He said pain will negate that. How much pain? Macam patah tulang. He mentioned that. Yeah. So when he survived the whole killing among dia punya clones kan, maybe something happen yang they stole something and then something bad happen yang dia memang tak nak. Dia nak curi je, but someone got something like that and then they fought each other. We should stop. No, we shouldn't stop. How we supposed to feel ourselves, blah blah. And then they start killing each other. And then the one person that survived kan was the original. But he was not sure that he was the original. You have to understand. There was a lot of them. And he was talking to them all the time tau. He was lost in the crowd of himself tau. So, when he survived, he was not 100% sure he was the original. Maybe he was sure like 90%, even 99%. But that 1% apa yang dia tak sure kan makes him be afraid that if something happens to me, saya patah tulang kan, Saya takut saya hilang macam the rest of my clones. So he pakai the clothes, pakai the mask. It's not actually to, like you said lah, it's a mental coping mechanism. It's not for to subside or lock his power. It's just a placebo. It's like when you get nervous, right? You hold your hands to calm yourself down. It's something like that. It's a coping mechanism. The clothes, the mask is a coping mechanism. That's why bila dia nak tarik muka kan, he lost it. But he didn't lost it as much as when he see Toga nak kena bunuh. I don't know if you've seen this in the comics kat DC. It reminds me of that scene yang Wonder Woman nak bunuh Maxwell Lord. Dia kopek kepala dia. Yeah, they were doing that to Toga, and he lost his cool, and then they broke his both arms. Dia sakit, nangis, but he was smiling happily. I'm not a clone, so I can use my power, go wild as much as I want, and he did. So it was that moment kan you see dia punya macam redemption arc. All this time kan he was making friends by himself, but when he was losing just one, he lost like 1,000 of his friends, of his copies. But that is nothing compared to one real friend, Toga. So this redemption part of the story is actually very touching, and the way they show it in the anime, right? It's a good transition. I felt the story, I felt dia punya macam passion. We all understand what's happening, so good.
Nice.
I got no complaints.
By the way, he can only make 2 clones, one progressively weaker than the other. So does it mean bila kita ada banyak tu, that means the other clones make clones, and then they make clones, and then
They make clones, they make clones, they make clones. That's why apa you see a battle between 9,000, 10,000 apa Liberation Army members dengan a few thousand twice yang buat lah.
Yeah man, it's like a
Dia-
sea
dia-
of twice.
Menjawab yang kategori punya question ni lah, where you have clone number 1 and then clone number 2. Twice original himself at that point of time masa dia tengah flashback tu, aku boleh buat 2 orang je. So at that point of time, when at the moment of crisis kan, dia nampak Toga, and then when tangan dia patah, it's like, I'm the original. So he really push himself. Dia dah tak kisah dah. All of the first copy dia buat tu, those were all the first generation copies yang dia buat. So the thing that menyebabkan dia jadi gila and takut is because when he clone himself, he also clone his ability to clone himself. That is a key story point. It's not just the original je yang boleh clone. That's why as he selalu surround with everybody who is talking like him, perangai macam dia, majority of the memories pun macam dia akan jadi macam satu hive mind tau, macam semut. Semut, the sense of individuality tak ada kan. So
Yes.
ini macam like, aku ni siapa? Aku semut nombor berapa ni?
Yeah.
So dia panic lah. So progressively, the more they make, the next copy tu macam photostat copy, the colour makin pudar. That's why you tengok the early on yang some of them explosion besar pun macam like, no problem guys. Some of it botok je, berapa dia tumbuk.
Yeah.
Terus dia tumbuk je. Masa
Hancur.
dia mamat, terus hancur. Tapi kan, aku ada satu interesting point Twice ni, that mungkin our viewers tak fikir lah. Notice that the moment all of his clones pecah, dia punya mind split in two. And he finally found a friend that he will always bring with him all the time, which is his other half.
What?
Ya, betul.
Blah 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 blah
Yes,
blah
yes.
blah blah. So kan, secara tak langsung his story he actually fulfill what he wanted all along, a friend in his mind.
Yes.
Wow.
Because
Itu
he
yang-
literally boleh bergaduh tau. Aku nak kopi hitam tambah susu. That kind of thing macam like,
Ya.
Faham.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
want to add.
Yeah.
Actually, in the anime, I think they told the story better than the manga. I think that's very rare.
Wow.
I
That's cool.
actually gave a lot more fuck watching the anime than actually when I first read it. Actually, So
Wow.
they conveyed the emotions better in the anime. I just hope they continue to do this with the other episodes lah, instead of just giving us fillers and trash episodes
Yeah.
lah.
Yeah, it looks strong. It looks strong. It looks like I wish season 5 was just the interclass battle and then kau terus masuk into the My Villain Academia.
Yeah.
You know, it's like kita tak perlukan pun langsung Endeavour Agency arc tu.
Anri,
And never tak boleh ajar apa-apa.
Yeah.
boleh you elaborate further tak? What was really better on the anime side compared to the manga?
Okay, when the breakthrough moment was when Twice sedar that he was original. I didn't get it in the manga. I didn't in the anime the two clone skeptic kan patahkan tangan dia kan. Crack. And then his eyes lowered and then he rise back. And then he was actually he noticed he was both in pain and relief. I'm original. I know 99.99% 5 seconds ago that I may be the original. Now I know I'm 100% the original. So all powers loose.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. It's just a simple macam momentary what you call it, detail that makes a big difference between the anime and the manga. Manga, a lot of people say, oh, the manga is better than the anime. And to be fair, it's the truth most of the time. But this is one of the rare occasions, right, where the anime tells a better story than the manga.
That means they all animate dia punya expression at that point of time.
Yes.
That one I agree.
The motion, the emotion, the voice acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear his torment. He doesn't know who he is really, if he's the original or the clone, and he doesn't know how to save his friend.
Yeah.
You hear from the voice, the emotion.
Yeah, I
was
think that's
really
why
some good acting.
the quote said, I only found my place after hitting rock bottom. It's
Okay.
like, dia dah macam dia ingat dia nak mati and then tangan dia patah, Toga is like in trouble, but yeah, that was rock bottom for him and then he just
And what a way to kill a girl. Dia pegang kepala and then dia pusing kepala dia. I'm like, the hell, you might as well just pijak kepala dia tau. You know, pijak, storm the head.
well, skeptic tengah busy control B dengan C, so yang lain tu semua skeptic tak boleh control. Dia tengah busy control dia. Yang pegang toys tu nak macam
macam minimal effort executive kat office tau. Kau pusing pegang badan dia, kau pusing. Okay boss.
Okay,
It's
Okay
like
boss.
aku tengok tu kan,
Bos suruh saya buat lah. Kenapa?
aku tengok tu kan, aku macam nak tampar the animator dah, because it's like because you want tukar lampu kan, you buka mentol, you tap mentol and then you pusingkan badan 20 kali baru semua balik the connection.
betul.
Really betul-betul.
I'm like,
Betul-betul minimal effort.
Okay, kita ada beberapa komen terpilih. Pertama, kategori The Great mengatakan dia rasa Twice boleh buat kumpulan villain sendiri tapi tak pernah percaya klon sendiri. Aku rasa initially that's how he made his name, dengan merompak dengan like 50 version of himself, but eventually it affected here.
The danger kat sini is that when he creates the clone, they have their own motivation and they have their own memory semua tau. Masa dia dekat tower tu, dia create Shigaraki, dia create Dabi, dia create Compress tu kan, they literally react macam like, oh celaka kau kutuk aku kau dah kata aku tu jinx, aku kutuk kau, and yet at the same time they like burden with the knowledge that tapi aku ni clone kan.
I think that was breakthrough when he was cloning other members of the League of
That's very good.
Because dia dah biasa rapat dengan dia orang.
Wow. Okay, next comment, Amirul mengatakan as expected dia akan clone of him wearing the mask which can be controlled, though sometimes gaduh-gaduh kecil or sarcastic. Siapa yang original tapi tak menyebabkan bunuh-membunuh. Aku rasa after this breakthrough in this episode, dia tahu that he is the original, so dia dah confident untuk buat beribu clone. Dan seterusnya Amirul bertanya, Liberation nak bunuh Toga ke nak buat puppet Toga? Sebab lama sangat. Itulah dia macam aku punya teori ialah skeptic tengah busy. programming B dengan C untuk pegang Twice. So dia tak ada masa nak bagi tahu lagi 5 yang tengah pegang toga tu. Buffering.
B dengan C tengah nak patahkan tangan. E dengan F tengah buat kerja lain. So basically susah nak cover semua satu masa. But also I think apa yang buat Twice rise up sebab dia ingat balik macam mana Toga layan dia tau. Macam you know, Toga treat him as no judgmental at all. Macam Toga faham okay kita senasib. Itu yang buat dia macam lagi berkobar-kobar. Okay, I know real one, fuck it, all hell break loose. That something was very memang dibuat lawa gila lah. Memang Twice is apa memang hero in this episode lah. And also aku kan ada part speeder. Wait, kau dah tak trauma aku. The power of love conquer everything. Aku macam bodoh lah. Oh my god, Twice.
Betul.
Yang macam, soalan Toga tadi tu kan. Kalau kita refer to the previous episode, that reporter tu dia cakap macam dia nak story Toga punya story. So I suspect that the full plan is they will get Toga punya story and dia akan buat her as a martyr. They will kill her off because they don't need her power. That's one thing lah. But she will be used as a tragic backstory. Kau tengok ni, orang yang tak bersalah, you know, ini semua kerja hero lah ni. You know, it's easy for them to frame the heroes by showcasing this anak terbiar, you know, just because orang tak faham dia ni.
As a failure of the hero society.
Yes, most likely they had Toga punya death all planned out.
Pastinya. Okay, so dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita bakal membincangkan bab menarik kita yang kedua. Bab menarik kita yang kedua adalah tentang Twice Set Man's Parade, di mana Twice duplicates dirinya menjadi beribu-ribu klon untuk menentang 9,000 ahli Metal Liberation Army. 11,000. So Twice mengatakan, "Get out my way, imposters. I will never hurt my friends. Liberation Army, witness its terror." So soalan aku kepada para panelis, apakah pendapat anda tentang manifest quirk epic yang dialami oleh Twice dalam episod ini, dan apakah langkah seterusnya daripada skeptik bagi membendung nasib Twice ini? Kita mulakan dengan Shaz. Silakan Shaz.
Aku rasa skeptik ni memang awal-awal dia dah terasa satu tercabar, and then dia punya pride dah kena dilukai lah. His pride got wounded tau. Wow, looks like this is one of your few mistakes skeptik. Member jeling gitu macam aku pernah buat silap satu je. Macam like, wow, this guy, you know, either he tak sedar diri or memang he really doesn't make mistake, and then everything is forever in his plan lah, under his control. So aku rasa he is going to find, sebab dia boleh anthropomorphize, dia boleh tukar benda yang lebih kurang humanoid size jadi macam humans, and he can control. Perasan tak masa dia orang naik ke tower tu, Mamat yang jadi meja dengan pegang dia punya notebook semua tu tak bergerak. It's literal puppet because they are not people. They are just controlled dolls. They was changed from,
I think it's a chair and a table, tapi dia buat dalam bentuk manusia.
Itulah kan, aku tak tahulah apa penyakit ni kan. But the whole concept of benda jadi macam manusia is something that is common dalam anime ni. So I think they took that stereotype and make it into a character lah. Fully, that is his full power. Kerja aku, I can change something to become humanoid. So, he most likely, sebab dia pandai, dia dah anticipate that kalau Twice ni ada an awakening of his power, he probably needs to have a backup army on standby. Sebab kita tahu kan, the entire city tu ada banyak of this Metal Liberation Army. But what if a breakthrough macam spear kan, kalau spear go through a big formation and everything, it can cut through all that people and reach the boss. So now the boss is under threat. So he has gone down to probably find dia punya army lah. his own army. But tak tahulah dia sempat ke tak sebab tower tu runtuh kot. Kena decay
Kenapa?
macam like,
Shigaraki pegang macam tu je.
Yup.
Lepas tu yang best apa Shigaraki punya ayat. Orang kalau dah runtuh ni patut mampus kan?
Macam babi. Dia macam bukan Twice dekat atas sana. And the guy that we're trying to save dekat sana. Macam hello.
But just nak refer actually waktu first wave yang Shigaraki tahan tu kan dengan Twice aku nampak dia kat bawah. So dia dekat bawah tu bukannya Makia kan, is a real Shigaraki kan?
Yes, kat bawah is the real Shigaraki.
Yeah. The clone Shigaraki was saying that
dekat atas.
Shigaraki dekat bawah. Yeah. That was quite confusing until I realised tangan yang menghantarkan tower tu ialah tangan Shigaraki. Yeah.
Itulah, that's why the Shigaraki clone masa dia nampak tu, I know what's going to happen after this. That's why dia terus cakap dengan clone, kalau kau sayang si Giran tu, make sure you have
shield
enough of a bubble to keep him alive because I saw him down there and I know what's going to happen after this. Itu yang tuan cakap, ya ke?
Betul lah.
Terus dia make multiple clone punya bubble lah.
Alright, Nazir, pendapat kau tentang Awakening Twice? Apakah next move by Skeptic? Silakan.
Honestly aku macam memang the segment parade ni macam it's a wave of human tau, macam it's crashing through the army, macam aku macam mampus lah kau semua. The best thing is the action dengan dialog tu sama-sama tau, macam kau boleh dengar Twice punya self-friend dengan clone dia sambil dia pukul-pukul musuh tau. So aku cakap ni kita bunuh je lah, tapi tak kita bunuh. Aku macam so many things happening. And also this is an epic moment di mana where Twice accept himself as himself and he is the truest of the true. Sebab aku tengok dia punya quote ni macam how fucked it is, the clone won't kill the original actually. Is won sebab dia tahu the sources everything is original. Although dalam masa dekat bangunan tu macam aku original. Alah tak kisah apa sama original. Yang penting kita lawan je. This something was very good actually, and I hope to see for upcoming episode Twice, dia dapat harness the power, being more powerful sebab potential Twice ni sangat besar actually, very very big.
Definitely.
And for Skeptic macam aku buat selepas sekali je aku tak buat 2-3 kali. Tapi kau buat juga.
Dia marah gila tu dia marah gila.
Dia marah gila sebab dia tak sangka yang Twice akan jadi sekuat tu tau. Sebab masa first dia dah datang, dia tahu Twice ni kira yang paling easy target, yang paling lemah. But when Twice release everything, aku tu kejap macam oh shit, aku salah kira.
Yeah. Anri, do you think that scene in the tower was showing that Twice punya mind would not degrade anymore because now they have a vision? Dia kata it doesn't matter who is the clone as long as we fight.
Okay, it is quite different from the first time Twice buat banyak clone dia tau. When Twice mula buat clone banyak kan, he wanted those clones to be around him for a long time as his friends. Yang clone yang keluar army ni kan is just specifically for fighting. After fighting habis, maybe he just disperse everyone. But during the first time kan, the clones kan, dia accumulate too much time experience kan, they became some sort of semi-independent now. Did you see, do you remember the episode yang Rick and Morty kan, yang when Rick give this device, tekan, and then this one blue guy appeared. What's his name? Mr.
Nazir, Mr. Mi6.
Yeah.
Dia punya purpose kan is actually to do get your wish done, and then I'll die. Longer I live, it's like health to me. I'm not supposed to live this long. I think that's what happened dengan dia punya clones tau. The more he didn't disperse kan, the more errant it becomes.
Dia jadi macam existential dread. Like,
yes.
Apa purpose aku hidup?
And then they go to question, am I clone or is he the clone? So that's why I think that they fight in the end. I think that's what he learned kan. Maybe I cannot make copies of myself too long. They go crazy, which makes perfect sense now. Because if you make a copy of yourself, you can control. But you cannot control them for long periods of time. You go crazy, which happens to be what's happening to Twice lah, with all these mental issues. Okay, that's about Twice. Currently, we see Skeptic making moves. I tak remember what he did in the manga, so I'm not that sure if it's that important or that impressive. But Skeptic is he may not look like it, but he's a dominatrix now. He likes to dominate people. That's why when he sits or use apa dia PC, mesti bentuk manusia. If he his punya power play is basically I use people to do whatever I tell them to do. He likes to tell people what to do. He likes to be in control. Even dia punya attitude kan, I've never made a mistake, just one mistake. He wants to control the situation. He wants to control everything. He's a perfectionist, but he's ultimately a dominatrix. He wants to dominate everything. The person yang dia kata he only make one mistake once, I think that's because dia kalah dengan RE-DESTRO. At least that's my guess. So I think for him to cover this thing, I think he's going to, I can't remember what he's doing. Maybe he's making a beeline to the original Twice, because you have to understand the Twice inside the building kan is not the original Twice. The Twice yang original is the Twice yang dekat garden rumah terbiar tu.
Stick with toga.
The two broken arms with toga. You have to understand the original body kan, dua tangan dia kena patahkan. So unless they relocate back the shoulders or something, he cannot move his arms.
Wow.
Yeah,
power weh. The fact that clone dia can go all the way to the tower, lepas tu ada, boleh buat lagi banyak clone. Wow. And your thoughts about Hanabata? Hanabata, the guy that like, okay guys, jom. Walaupun ada ramai ni, kita still boleh kalahkan diorang. Sacrifice yourself for the liberation. Apa pendapat kau?
I cakap terus lah, I cannot get used to the salute lah. Hello, jom mati. Let's fight to the end. Loser.
Losers to the end.
He's your. I think he's the usual. I can't remember his character much. I think he's the usual macam quirk, macam battle cry, race
race morale kind of stuff lah.
Yeah, you see this in those top to bottom RPG games lah, macam Dota ngamuk berserk something like that lah.
Shaz?
Yang Hanabata tu is quite straightforward lah. His politician style talking arose from his ability to control the masses dengan dia punya speeches. So his ambition campur his ability and campur dia punya quote, all combined into one. Yang pasal Twice ni, there's a few more things kita boleh tengok. There was one scene when they were fighting out of a long street tau. They were still making more and more Twice tau kat situ.
Yeah, because it was like a fountain of toys.
Because they were easily expendable, so they had to keep making. And I forgot what's the other point I wanted to mention. Alamak, aku dah lupa dah. Sebab when you mention Hanabata tu kan, so aku macam like dah lari lah. But yeah, that's one important point lah. When he start making clones, baru aku ingat. Dia punya clones akan, aku punya teori Brazil lah, sebab dalam anime it has never been stated. The state of emotion of him making the clones mungkin akan di carry forward to dia punya clones. So masa he was creating his clones back then as the petty criminal and all that, dalam hati dia kan, I can only rely on myself. I must be able to survive no matter the cost. So when that is your state of emotion, all your clones pun kepala macam tu lah.
Yeah.
I must be able to survive no matter the cost. So when that is your overriding principle, semua clone yang lain ni boleh sila meninggal. Aku dengan original Twice dah cukup. So when that emotion was so strong, that could have been one of the triggers when they started fighting lah. You compare dengan Twice yang ni, they were self-sacrificing tau. Macam like, aku dah tak kisah, mati pun tak apa, janji all my comrades. Tak ada masalah. That's why dia orang macam like, lantaklah original ke, clone over clone ke, berapa generation pun, we're here to save our friends. That's why dia orang punya mindset was different. I suspect when the strongest emotion, at the time he create his clone, that is carried forward.
That's cool. That's a pretty cool theory. Kita ada satu komen dari penonton di rumah, Ian Wayen mengatakan Twice ada multiple personality disorder sebab trauma his clones killing each other. Dia trauma suspect he is a clone himself. Yeah. But in this episode, he got the breakthrough when his bones break. It hurt, but he still didn't disintegrate. Means he is the original. So I think that was the key in this whole episode.
Yeah.
Alright guys, so dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan membincangkan babak menarik kita yang ketiga. Babak menarik kita yang ketiga adalah tentang DEIKA City, Geten versus Dabi, di mana Geten mendapatkan upper hand ketika menentang Dabi. Geten mengatakan, I told you I could manipulate ice. I can also control the temperature of my ice. I can send my ice into the pipelines to freeze water and use that ice as my extension. Lepas tu dia, he blow up all the pipes and then semua Twice macam, my copies! Semua melayak. So soalan aku kepada para panelis, adakah assessment Geten bahawa Dabi tidak boleh berlawan for a prolonged amount of time kerana nanti dia akan disintegrate benar? Will Geten eventually win out in the long run versus Dabi? Apakah spekulasi liar anda? Silakan Shaz.
Personally aku rasa dalam this the last few episodes ni, all of the League of Villains akan menang. There will not be a loss from them. I think Geten punya, sebab dia ni orang rajin and dia dah biasa guna dia punya ice tu, so he got a bit overconfident lah. Masalahnya he does not have actual combat experience and combat fighting to survive tau. Kalau based on the manga macam Anri mention, kan dia orang ada lawan other groups and all the time he was on his own. He is also fighting to survive all the hero, the villain hunters on the hero punya side. So compared dengan Mamat Geten ni, yang aku tak pergi sekolah, aku skip sekolah, aku nak belajar ice. Bro, aku tak lawan dengan, you never fought for your life, lain tau. I mean, yes, we can see that Dabi at some point in the fight, he's begin to smoke tau. Yang ni is the first time this has happened. So aku tak ada precedent dari segi anime untuk kita tengok how long he can fight. But then the question comes, how long did he fight until he became like that? You see, it takes a long time. Takkanlah, you just a few minutes you lawan, you dah start smoking. I think it will take a very long time. Or the even scarier part is that yang kulit yang dia pakai tu is actually hiding the real fire. Oh, that's going to be really scary when the thing, you like, oh, kau nak tengok aku punya real fire kan? Yeah, aku takut dia. He pull back his skin and you can see even redder skin or whatever. Oh, that's going to be mini horror show kot. But yeah, I don't think he will lose.
Okay, cool. Nazir, apa pendapat kau? Geten ni bising banyak ke? Pasal sebelum ni last episode dia tarik semua ais dalam bandar tu, dalam DEIKA City. Dan minggu ni dia cakap, aku tak perlukan ais lah babi, aku boleh tukar air jadi ais lah. Macam bising banyak siapa kibat ni. Silakan.
Tak, Mama ni dia sembang tau. Dia sekejap sembang tu, sekejap dia sembang ni. And aku rasa for Dabi ni, yes, for now kau nampak dia dah start, badan dah start smoke, mana dia dah reach limit tau. And percaya cakap aku, something will happen yang Dabi akan burst out. Cakap aku, Dabi akan burst out, Dabi akan keluarkan like more big blue flame yang boleh melt all the ice for sure. Sebab memang kalau kau kena tahu, Dabi ni punya satu, kalau orang peruk dia akan lagi panas. Walaupun Dabi kira macam antara yang paling cool antara dalam League of Villain, tapi dia juga yang memang kalau kau hit on his nerve, aku bunuh kau for sure. So macam aku tengok Geten ni dah tak pergi sekolah, mulut kau macam lupa. Memang betul tunggu masa nak mampus dia budak ni. Oh, aku cakap, kau sembang apa, aku ada ais apa semua, aku boleh tukar air jadi ais apa semua kan. Kau sembang, kau tunggu kejap je. Sebab aku sekarang ni the city dia dah prolong the fight to ensure the big impact will hit on us tau. Ini macam mana previous episode bila kau nampak Twice kita ingat clone Twice tapi rupanya skeptic punya clone. So basically what will happen for sure, Dabi maybe akan remember something from his past atau apa-apa, boom, more bigger blue flame, that's for sure lah. Aku je tunggu tu dia sebab
dia cakap, apa sih aku tak beritahu awal-awal, kau ni bising banyak ah. Dia cakap dekat Geten kan.
and also that's why satu Dabi dia masa lawan tu dia akan analyse musuh dia tau. Dia tak akan simply akan serang mendadak, dia akan cuba cari the weak point actually. That's why the pace dia lawan tu slow. Dia tak macam spinner, tak macam ada villain yang memang akan serang dulu. Dia akan study first, study the movement, study the weakness, and then attack one shot atau apa untuk terus bunuh, ataupun untuk terus stop the movement. That is Dabi actually. So as for now Dabi tengah study the eyes, the movement apa semua, dia pakai tangan mana, dia gerak macam mana. So once dia conclude dia punya hypothesis, dia akan go out for sure.
Cool. Anri, pada pendapat kau, is Geten talking out of his ass? Silakan.
Short answer, yes. If I were Geten, I'd go back to Alaska and start building igloos for living lah. Cause I know he's gonna get killed the longer this goes lah. Because you have to understand, everyone is getting that awakenings tau. Shigaraki punya awakening is the most drastic. All of them are having breakthrough moments. Dabi, when I read the comic lah, when I read the manga, I knew Dabi will approach a breakthrough moment fighting this ice clown. And when I saw yang dia punya skin macam apa, mula berasap, keluar all those things kan, it reminds me of that villain from Samurai X, Shishio Makoto.
Yes.
Yang balut tu. Dia pun full of scars, cannot fight lama sebab dia punya skin kelenjar peluh dia semua dah hancur. So longer he fights, memang boleh terbakar badan dia. Reminds me of Dabi, villain of vengeance. So I knew even before watching the anime or the manga habis kan, I knew he's going to blow up, as in have a breakthrough moment, ada awakening, power dia besar, api dia jadi macam blue until jadi macam something else lah, dia keluar haiwan or something like that, boleh control jadi bentuk. That was my first guess. I'm not going to spoil what's going to happen next, but it is apparent that Dabi is going to defeat Geten, because we have to understand the showdown between Dabi and the heroes kan is going to happen. Geten kan is just like a wall for now for him. Dabi sendiri katakan he wants to destroy the hero society, starting with who? Endeavor. Orang dia banyak dendam.
Betul.
For him to actually lose to Geten here, right? It would be a setback for him. If he survive, it will be a setback mentally, and then we have to go macam Dabi redemption arc, which I doubt will happen lah. So the most logical thing that I could come up, he's gonna win. It's just gonna be a bit harder, take a bit longer.
Yeah. I look forward to that breakthrough, man. I can't wait. I can't wait. So kita ada satu komen daripada Kudo yang mengatakan L sign tu mungkin Horikuchi buat as a tongue-in-cheek reference kot, as opposed to not knowing its connotation in the West.
Officially aku boleh imagine lah, it actually means liberation. And tapi sebab dia tahu macam ni lah, dia cakap it's a tongue-in-cheek lah. L apa? L is also for losers kan. So okay lah, aku buat je lah. Sebab memang a lot of the MHA ni dia ada banyak in between jokes tau. Kita je yang tak boleh faham the Japanese text on the baju. Apparently a lot of them wearing shirts macam like nama sayur lah, nama apa-apa lah. It's like hero, you know. The t-shirts themselves pun ada mini jokes.
That's cool. Dia macam meme yang lost to us pasal
yeah.
faham bahasa dia. Alright guys, so dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita bakal membincangkan babak menarik kita yang keempat. Babak menarik kita yang keempat adalah tentang GIGANTOMACHIA, Secret Savior, di mana Ally All for One membangunkan GIGANTOMACHIA untuk memburu Shigaraki kembali. So doktor tu cakap, it's best for GIGANTOMACHIA to take care of him, but serves you right for trying to pull off a sneaky trick. But if they all died now, I would feel sorry for All for One. So macam dia macam pasal All for One kan kawan baik dia kan. So he's still, you know, loyal lah. So pada pendapat anda, adakah GIGANTOMACHIA bakal menyelamatkan keadaan di DEIKA City nanti dengan menumpaskan RE-DESTRO serta Metal Liberation Army? Kita mulakan dengan Shaz. Silakan Shaz.
Aku sebenarnya fikir terbalik actually. I think GIGANTOMACHIA akan datang right at the moment when Shigaraki dengan RE-DESTRO is about to come, or yang dah stalemate kan. So macam like, you know, typically when you have a stalemate antara hero dengan villain, you want the hero to win eventually or the villain to run away. Tapi kalau dua-dua pun villain, usually kalau ada stalemate tu something will happen lah. In this case, aku rasa GIGANTOMACHIA akan datang because his instruction was simple. I need to test my master punya supposed apprentice. So when GIGANTOMACHIA datang, dia akan sepahkan je all this Liberation Army punya people. So the League of Villains akan reassemble tau. Macam Avengers lah. So villains assemble. So they will actually beat this GIGANTOMACHIA. So when they beat the GIGANTOMACHIA,
like together beat GIGANTOMACHIA.
Nah, the Liberation Army akan like, not my problem bro. Ni masalah kau.
Guys.
Masalah aku. Like, janganlah dia tak kacau aku kan. Dia mak ni datang berdebu. Dia tengok dia resto, kau siapa? Dia belah. Dia kejar Shigaraki. Dia like, okay, not gonna touch this guy. So at that point of time, when the entire League of Villains, because now every one of them has their awakening kan, or the main, the more popular ones dah dapat their awakening. So I think they will be able to defeat GIGANTOMACHIA ni without even having to rely on, sebab initially kan dia punya plan is macam, okay lah, kita bagilah GIGANTOMACHIA lawan dengan Liberation Army, and then after that when dia dah penat, kita boleh take over. But now most likely they will be able to reach a level where they can beat him. Mind you GIGANTOMACHIA baru bangun tidur so dia punya penat dah hilang tu. So the RE-DESTRO akan nampak, oh shit, now they are very strong tau. Okay, welcome, join our army. So League of Villains macam like, join equal player.
Dia macam kau tendang seorang tebuan, lepas tu macam, oi, tebuan marah guys, tebuan marah. Macam mana kan?
Itulah. Because kita jangan lupa they've been monitoring the fights all this time. They know about GIGANTOMACHIA, they know about their own fight dalam hutan tu. So they probably realise that budak-budak ni tak boleh lawan GIGANTOMACHIA. So, you know, come over here, kita akan either execute our plan. But when they see that these guys have reached their awakening and actually beat GIGANTOMACHIA, oh, you are welcome to join us now. masa tu kenalah maki kan Shigaraki, pel otak engkau nak join as equals boleh lah, join, sorry, I can finish you right now, right here.
Nice theory. Nazir, do you agree with that theory, or do you think Gigantomachia will be used as a weapon against Liberation Army?
Okay, actually Shaz punya teori also is a well thought actually. Memang aku also setuju dengan Shaz sebab aku nak tengok juga apa Machia will do. Adakah Machia akan terus serang Liberation Army ataupun dia akan terus pergi ke Shigaraki sebab you know after a while kot diorang cuba nak get Machia to be part of their team. So this is the moment where we get to see the hasil actually. And of course kita nampak semua hero, most of the hero dah awakening their higher level quirk. So of course I think for sure Machia will be beaten down, and maybe this is the moment where Machia realise okay, this is the master punya waris actually yang aku kena follow. And that moment when the assemble moment, memang aku rasa the Battle Liberation macam we bow down to you, bow down to the glory. Who knows, right? Who knows lah. But macam aku punya spekulasi, maybe kita akan nampak a big fight between these three side on the next episode. Tapi tak lama lah. I mean, like maybe in the first 10 minutes of the fight, atau mungkin the last 10 minutes of the episode maybe lah. Sebab tengah-tengah they still fighting for it. Sebab kita maybe akan nampak, kita akan tengok for 50% of the episode akan fill out with the Shigaraki punya backstory, that's for sure. Right, so let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Maybe Shigaraki can learn, do something to jinakkan Machia ke, atau make Machia listen to him ke.
Okay.
I mean, although banyak dekat effort dekat hutan pun asyik feel kan. So right now, kau dah ada twice yang boleh do 1,000 of clone yang maybe boleh tahan dia ke apa kan.
Betul. Interesting theory. Anri, does Gigantomachia die in the manga?
Gigantomachia.
Yeah.
I think it was.
I mean, we saw the news when the first time we heard about Deika City, it was Gigantomachia destroying shit, right?
It was Gigantomachia destroying, but we also learned that he was taken into custody, into Tartarus by Gran Torino. So Gigantomachia survived this battle among the Liberation and League of Villains. I know how the fight will end, and I know the consequences that will follow through the end of that battle. So I do not want to spoil. But after the battle, the both League and Liberation Army, they will undergo changes. After some losses lah. Someone will lose something, and Shigaraki will lose something, but they will gain something back. And there will be time for them to reconcile and move forward to fuck up the world of heroes.
That's interesting.
Yeah. You have to understand that this is called My Villain Academia. They're not here to destroy the other villains. They're trying to mobilize and unify the villains. That's the plot of this arc. It's not like a Highlander. We do not kill each other and make numbers less. No, we're trying to consolidate our powers so that we can fuck up the heroes.
Yes, that is the ultimate goal.
That is the ultimate. So if you're hoping for if you're hoping for a linear ending towards this whole arc, I don't think you'll get it lah. It's not that linear. What you expect, how it happened, how it is another swerve. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah.
And because this is in the past, kita dah nampak dia orang duduk semeja by Hawk's time, so it's kind of a spoiler lah.
It's kind of spoiler. We know both League and the Liberation Army, they are together and they are not
Yes.
destroyed. So something happened. So we will let's see what's going on. What happened during the fight between RE-DESTRO and Shigaraki that make them kamjing.
Yes, BFFs.
Hmm.
Maka dengan itu berakhirlah segmen ini dan kita akan ke babak menarik kita yang terakhir. Babak menarik kita yang terakhir adalah tentang RE-DESTRO, True Motivation, di mana RE-DESTRO mula berlawan dengan klon Shigaraki dan mendedahkan motivasi sebenarnya. So there is a very long monologue daripada RE-DESTRO. He goes into this whole, dia memulakan dengan a woman once gave birth to a girl who possessed meta abilities. But it was a time of discrimination against all forms of meta abilities. Endless bickering and overflowing prejudices. The girl she loved was loathed by everyone around her. The woman responded to the world with her whispering voice. This is my daughter's quirk. I want society to be a world where she can live with freedom. But her words were faced with mocking. She never responded afterward. She was murdered by the anti-meta mobs. But the heroes and self-proclaimed enforcers of justice were prospering. The government and the heroes were correcting that notion. They revived the woman's words for their political campaigning, so the quirks were accepted. The quirks came in many forms and awareness correction must take place. However, they begin to establish laws that restrain the use of meta abilities. Changing the title won't change a thing. They wanted the use of meta abilities to be in check. True freedom will never be a reality unless people can use their powers freely. Destro believed that that is not the future our mother wanted. Let's make the world a place where we can use our quirks freely. That was working against their interests. Do you know why Destro's note was selling like hotcakes? Buku dia. Rise up against the government for the sake of true freedom. That's the legacy I must take on to finish what Destro started. The descendant of Destro, his bloodline. I am RE-DESTRO. So throughout that whole long monologue, soalan aku, siapakah the mother of quirks? I think this is the first time I'm hearing it. Adakah ia berkaitan dengan asal-usul sebenar RE-DESTRO, mak dia ke, makcik dia ke, grandma dia ke? Dan apakah pendapat anda tentang motivasi perjuangan RE-DESTRO dan Meta Liberation Army sekarang after his fucking long monologue? Kita mulakan dengan Shaz, silakan.
I do not think this is the very first baby that was born with a quirk. Ingat tak, the very first episode ada budak baby bercahaya. Everybody was like, ni budak mana pula bercahaya ni kan? So I don't think it's the mother of quirks. Aku rasa this is macam kalau kita nak compare, it's a name that was given to her by a lot of the people with powers yang tak jadi hero. Mama yang hidung gajah, mata ada apa? Mata sebelah kelabu, sebelah kuning ke apa ke, you know, telinga panjang, powers which were not hero quality. So at that point of time, mungkin the amount of heroes tak banyak tau, mungkin sikit je. How far back in time kita tak tahu. Tapi yang pentingnya, I believe that dia ni macam I'm not good enough in history, but kalau kita can imagine somebody of macam Martin Luther King, is it correct kan? He fought for a cause. So this lady probably fought for a cause, and through her death, she became a character yang telah digunakan sebagai this is our struggle. Of course, one is fighting for, they are fighting for different things lah. But ultimately, these are people with good hearts yang tak bersalah, yang telah dibunuh dengan kejam because of what they believe in, which is actually fair. They wanted fair treatment. That is where kita boleh samakan these two people. They do not want the oppressed. They want the ability to sit in the same restaurant together. Tak ada panjang, mamak hidung gajah tu apa hal. So most likely this happened early on tau, when quirks were the minority. Sekarang quirks majority. Almost like what, 70% ke 80% have a
80.
non... Huh?
80%.
80% kan? Yeah, so we can imagine is similar to the Western punya X-Men punya story where the mutants sikit je. But imagine a future when all the mutants dah banyak, this thing will not be an issue because then the pure strain humans pula yang akan jadi penyakit. So it's a matter of somebody taking an innocent person punya cause. It's like we should have this cause. Kita patut berbincang. Why are we not becoming, we should work together as people. There should be equality. So dia kena bunuh. So most likely mungkin dia anak ramai ke yang dapat quote banyak ke, we do not know. Yang penting I believe that she has been made as a symbol by both Destro and RE-DESTRO. So dia jadi macam figurehead lah, unofficial figurehead. Kau tengok orang tak bersalah pun kena belasah. Kita ni lagilah with our abilities yang destructive ni lagilah kena oppress. So they took Magneto punya storyline. We want quirk superiority. Siapa yang power, kita akan naik. So that is ultimately aku rasa RE-DESTRO punya true motivation. He does not believe in dia punya let's say is really the father lah, sebab aku tengok dia punya aura tu kan bergerak kan. So I believe high chance that he is anak Destro. Apa signifikan yang benda hitam tu aku tak tahulah. But most likely there is some misinterpretation of Destro punya vision by RE-DESTRO ultimately to help him get more power. Sebab kita jangan tengok he's not just getting people with strong powers tau. He's getting a politician, he's getting a media journalist yang perempuan from the past week. He's getting people who can manipulate data. He wants to get twice so that he tak mati. It becomes eternal in that sense. There's always be him around. So it's more about his legacy and becoming, somebody who become Messiah. Was that the term? Dia akan jadi penyelamat kepada semua orang-orang yang di oppress ni.
Destructor of society. I think that is his end game lah.
Aku rasa that's his end game.
Nazir, apa pendapat kau tentang ceramah panjang RE-DESTRO berkaitan dengan mother of quirks?
Aku macam, mamak ni sembang panjang sangat lah. I just want to see some action, man. Aku tak nak dengar kau punya bebel. But actually it's pretty interesting take lah. Macam dia kata, ada origin apa semua apa. So dia kata the meta ability tau. Not a quirk, but a meta ability. So does that mean the meta evolved to quirk? Maknanya macam, does that mean the meta punya ability was so strong, bila quirk dia jadi, it's like meta maybe this kind of person yang ada like more than one quirk. I think more like multiple quirk.
I think it's just another way to call quirks.
Yeah.
Just so basically it's a hipster way to say lah.
Ya, pasal meta maksudnya meta-human, maksudnya more than human. So meta-humans are the quirk. So I think it's just a naming convention.
They coined it from the DC universe punya term.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And also
Pasal
macam
kalau dekat Marvel kau panggil diorang mutants, tapi dekat DC kau panggil diorang meta-human.
Meta-humans.
For this one, aku macam it's a very interesting take. So tapi aku rasa macam this is, I mean you can take a grain of salt, but don't take it so seriously. Ni macam ayat macam villain nak kalah tapi goes the long monologue macam kau nak kalah je lah Cibai, apa lagi nak sembang. Aku macam mamak ni sembang pasal buku macam dia promote Man Cave by Hitler tau. Sumpah aku rasa macam kau ni agak-agak.
Tak, pasal dia marah dengan League of Villains. Pasal League of Villains sekarang tengah popular after the Stein punya case. Stein. So dia cakap macam korang mengacau kita orang punya movement kita orang ni murni, okay, tentang mother of quirks. Kau ni siapa Pukimak? Tu yang dia cakap sambil tengah lempang Shigaraki clone tu. So dia ada righteous anger, righteous
my ass lah. Padahal sedangkan villain pun, I mean for first League of Villain kita tahu dia punya motivation masa first tu lemah, tapi bila Stein dah do a thing that trigger them, to do for a greater good, to be a villain. Tapi bukanlah nak kata they just be a villain, but they have a purpose. I forgot what was the purpose again.
Hmm?
League of Villains punya purpose apa? Dia nak being
Destroy
equal,
the
right?
hero society.
Yeah, destroy the hero society.
System.
Basically,
Destroy the system.
the system itself yang bagi dia orang corrupted, and dia nak restart again. Dia nak create a world where everything equal. But for this guy, okay, the murni part is the mother of quirk. The mother of quirk. Okay, I get that. But in what extent actually?
They
In
not
what
total freedom for metahumans to be how they want to be.
But isn't that what society are doing right now? School become a hero
They
or
kata
not a hero.
there is a failed system. That's what they kata there. It is failed.
There's a failed system.
Yeah.
So basically,
sebab tu kalau ada orang macam Toga, orang macam Twice, is because of this failed system.
that's also true lah, due to the failure system itself.
Yeah.
But for me, still, I mean, RE-DESTRO ni aku tak boleh take serious tau. I cannot take seriously this guy. I really cannot take seriously. Sebab the L thing lah. Maybe for the L thing. The L thing. I really
Kita
cannot.
tunggu 3 lagi
Next
episod.
3 lagi episode, we see how it goes lah.
Anri, do you think RE-DESTRO has been waiting in the wings all along until All For One masuk jail baru dia macam, okay, now I can take on the League of Villains? Adakah ini sebenarnya bacol? Silakan.
Possibly, because if RE-DESTRO is as competent as he believes, he may have already known about the existence of All For One. All For One has been a long time, and he probably done his research. Okay, All For One is this big bad guy since the past 80 years. None of the big heroes can touch him. I might as well build up my strength silently and wait for my time to rise. But when we are talking about RE-DESTRO punya story tadi kan, about the mother of quirks, I think it's just a story from the book of Destro kan, about the story of the way of the world tau. Dia punya story goes like this. Mother of quirks, the first mother who gave birth to a meta-human child, right? The first mother who gave birth to a meta-human child has faced a lot of challenges. They were hunted down by the anti-meta crowds, and they suffered a lot of persecution from them. That's when they were minority. Afterwards, when the mother, I think it symbolizes mankind, humanity, gave birth to more meta-humans sampai 80%, so that they're now a majority. These same people who basically hunted them, this anti-meta-human crowds, suddenly they are the meta-humans, the quirks, who feared the quirks yang powerful. So they created another system to oppress these meta-human quirk users yang betul-betul power memang tak ada control. So they set up laws and systems to oppress them. So basically, you oppress the first quirk users. Now the quirk users are oppressing the special quirk users. So RE-DESTRO have seen this pattern and he said, this is what's wrong with society. This is what it's supposed to do. We do not control anyone. We let things play out naturally. Freedom.
He did say changing its name will not change anything. Changing the title won't change a thing. They wanted the use of meta abilities to be in check. True freedom will never be a reality unless people can use their powers freely.
Yeah, right now it is established that RE-DESTRO is not a good guy. He may have noble intentions, but he's going the path of darkness, path of a villain, path of a tyrant. Destro yang mati dalam jail tu and wrote the book, he's probably macam Martin Luther King. He's a pacifist. Yeah, his belief is like this. My idea is like this. I want quote users to use their powers based on their judgment. Whether they are good or bad is up to them. If they are bad, other quote users will come to stop them. We can have no control on other people, which is basically macam religion now.
Yeah.
It's not
And
religion.
then I think Geten did say that the Meta Liberation Army wants to recreate society where the people with the strongest meta will have the strongest worth.
Mm.
He was saying that to Dabi. Macam,
He was saying that.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they want to create a new system. So maybe RE-DESTRO kan has how you call that, corrupted the Destro's original teachings.
Yeah.
But the fact is, Destro punya teachings were not based on having a system. It's about not having a system at all.
Hmm.
He wanted the system yang orang gunakan is dia punya own pendirian. Tau. He wanted to leave mankind's quirk punya destiny into their own hands. Not in governments, not into a system, not into the laws, but on personal judgment. Because I think he's one of those guys who believe that, okay, it's like I said, religion. You know, good, bad, God, God and the devil, and hell and heaven.
Mhm.
But the choice is up to you. You know the consequences, but you do it anyway. Based on what? Your decisions, your actions. So this is what Destro's original teachings are actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Ada apa-apa lagi komen dari para panelis?
Dia punya the understanding ni is very easily distorted tau. Kalau you tengok the understanding of RE-DESTRO dengan even si Geten tu pun dia punya view dah berbeza-beza. There's a slight difference in kat situ, and you can tell that not everybody who is joining the Meta Liberation Army has the same view or mindset. Macam si Mamat slide Enggo tu kan. Mamat tu dia mestilah kepala dia, I just want justice for all. Tapi kalau orang macam Geten ni, wow, only the strongest is at the top. So you see, that's why aku totally believe that RE-DESTRO ni is taking a noble cause and turning it into something his own. Ultimately, he will be at the top, like it or not. Aku pernah dengar there's this concept where you have, kan kita ada banyak-banyak government, but it's a type of belief where dia ada anarchist. That means you do not believe in government, everybody fend for themselves. It'll be macam zaman-zaman dulu lah. Zaman-zaman King Arthur semua dulu. Even King Arthur punya time pun ada kingdoms and serfs kan. But back all the way back to the stone cave ni, everybody fend for themselves. Kalau korang nak duduk sekampung, ikut korang lah. Sebab kalau aku nak mengembara pergi mana-mana, kau jangan halang aku. Everybody does what they want to do. The problem being, when you have that, usually the stronger people will get what they want.
Yes.
And part of the reason why government was formed initially is to make sure that everybody has a fair chance lah. You know, equal chance, you know, and then by being able to pool resources in some way, then people yang boleh dipercayai dan bukan korup boleh manage all these resources to protect everybody else in that same group. Sama macam kita buat kampung, kalau kita bagi all of our, let's say kalau diorang bagi all the gold and everything kepada orang-orang yang kuat, they can make weapons and armor, or they can hire soldier lain, and then they can defend the entire village. So dalam case ni, he has a hidden agenda lah dia ni. Dia, aku rasa dia ada a separate network with deeper knowledge of dia punya plans. Sebab kita jangan lupa Hawks number 2 hero was not invited into the higher council meeting.
Not allowed.
Not allowed. It's like, okay, thank you sir, you can go now. Whereas the League of Villains were treated as equals tau. And they were not called macam council member of Meta Liberation Army. They were still called the League of Villains. They were still acknowledged as their own entity. So macam like, they are not equal. So macam Anri kata lah, it will be very interesting kalau kita nak tengok how the fights will determine that they end up equal and not macam like, oh, League of Villains is better or Meta Liberation is better. There is going to be equality among these two factions, But there's also going to be sama macam certain cases lah where kononnya everybody will be equal, but in the end there will be some people nak tak nak pun will be at a higher position, either by ability or because humans ni memang naturally akan push orang yang lebih bakat or lebih pengaruh and whatnot, tolak atas, kau jadi leader lah, aku tak reti buat semua ni.
I just want to add something. Hawks was not given full access to the organisation because dia baru join. Dabi was his contact person masuk into the new league / liberation. Kan one of the episodes kan when Hawks masuk kan, he saw one hero was the double agent kan, that
the slide and go guy.
The slide and go guy, the dumb hero, but for some reason he was the senior and Hawks panggil dia senior tau, because at that point kan I'm just a junior. I may be second best hero in the world, in the country right now, but as it stands I'm just a newbie, orang baru. You're my senior, my senpai. The position outside the organisation is not important. What is important is here. I'm not even Hawks is not even actually confirmed by Dabi himself tau. He's under macam what you call that, probation. For him to actually even cakap dengan twice kan, fetch him coffee kan, it sounds something tau. Belajar apa cara jadi masuk liberation army kan, in the blackboard kan. It was that level. So I'm not surprised he was excluded from all these meetings lah.
Dia macam baru join MLM lah. So dia under di bawah.
Yeah.
Budak beli aku kopi lah. Terpaksa pergi lah. Dia dah beli dia kopi lah siap.
Betul. Alright, so kita ada satu komen menarik daripada Ian mengatakan, my take on Mother of Quirks is that she was the first one to call meta abilities as quirks personality, not mother of the first meta-human. That one is from China based on episode 1 yang budak yang bersinar-sinar tu. Kemudian then the government used that term and her as a martyr to push their policy of regulating meta abilities. I believe in the manga explained the age before the kids quirks were called meta powers, supernatural. Thank you for the fact check, bro. Apa pendapat korang? Is this does this jive? This is correct, right?
I think so. I will accept it.
Cool.
It doesn't differ much from what we understood. So more or less it's on the same linear line.
Nice. Kemudian kategori The Great mengatakan RE-DESTRO ni dia takut kepada quirk of the younger generation ke? Sebab ada yang lagi kuat, which is the quirk singularity theory. Do you guys think that is so?
No, it's not just that. It's the fact that All for One ni, the fact that Shigaraki is unofficially All for One punya successor. So RE-DESTRO ni has always been in the background, and All for One has been like always kat depan kan. So tiba-tiba when All for One is gone, it's my turn. Tiba-tiba Shigaraki pula keluar balik macam like, mama ni, aku baru dah jadi hero of the villains ni kan, kau pula nyemak. So he needs to sepak the guy out of the way lah, because he cannot fight All for One. All for One punya power level, RE-DESTRO ni macam like, kau siapa? Dia jentik je. So it's not just the level of power of the young generation, it's the legacy that Shigaraki is bringing with him. And memang from the beginning pun Stain himself pun willing to work with him, with Shigaraki, and villain-villain lain pun initially flocked to him. So it is a future political power that he wants to cut off now before it's too late.
Makes sense. Seterusnya Riz mengatakan, saja nak tanya panelis, kalau RE-DESTRO lawan All for One, siapa akan menang? Pada aku it's easy. It's All for One. It's All for One.
All for One for sure lah. All for One lah. All for One lah. RE-DESTRO ni apa je kau ada.
Even RE-DESTRO punya power kan, yang big hand keluar kan, I think it was similar to macam All for One masa lawan dengan All Might for the last time kan. Dia keluar tangan dia besar kan. It's like those Akira punya, mutant arm keluar tu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you think All for One's gonna win it?
easily.
Tak,
Cool.
kalau kita nak tengok an objective evaluation of power lah. RE-DESTRO dia cakar sekali kan, pecah tingkap. All Might tumbuk lantai, keluar tornado kan. Off one leg je. You got what bro? I'm still here bro. Jom lah.
Betul man, betul.
So
Betul.
that is the objective punya ni. Kau setakat pecah tingkap je. Off one tumbuk, berubah cuaca kau tahu. So it's memang
Jauh
the
lah.
power scale is very different lah. It's too far.
Macam langit dengan bumi.
Hmm.
Alright guys, so dengan itu berakhirlah 5 babak menarik dan sekarang kita akan bincangkan harapan kami bagi episod minggu depan. So, judul episod minggu depan adalah Tenko Shimura Origin, di mana dia punya next week episode tu mengatakan The League of Villains are retaliating. The battle between RE-DESTRO of the Liberation Army and Shigaraki is still ongoing. The lost memories are coming back to him. The tragic past of Tenko Shimura set him on the path of destruction. Jadi apakah spekulasi anda untuk minggu depan? Are we going to see more of like All for One menipu Tenko, which eventually became Shigaraki? Are we going to see Nana, more of Nana and how she died? Apakah harapan korang untuk episod minggu depan? Silakan Shaz.
Aku punya harapan is at least lah 2/3 of the episode is must be Shigaraki. And then the last 1/3 tu aku just nak tengok Dabi just burn off si Mamat Geten ni. Macam like like
Mati!
Okay. You wait. Gigantomachia dah datang in the background kan. Wah, aku dah sampai. Ya aku tak ada masa nak orang kan bakar dengan full mic dia macam like weh. Jadi you know those anime character wah melayang kan. But I'm really hoping lah, if not 2/3 of the episode, at least half the first half lah, because aku rasa kan antara 3 karakter yang tunjuk ni, the front 3 tu will be the spotlight, is their awakening. Macam Dabi ni it's not so much awakening, it's more like aku tak boleh nak guna power aku, takut nanti terbakar mampus. So these 3 with the tragic backstory,
Yes.
that's why they're getting their own awakening episode, each of them.
Betul.
So hopefully we'll get to see him awaken. And honestly kan, aku rasa my personal thought lah, Shigaraki lost his control of his power, and memang dia punya family kena. Because kita tengok the flashback, kita boleh nampak family dia.
I want to know more about the hands man, about kenapa dia suka tangan tutup muka dia.
Aku ingat, I still remember that part. Dia macam, there were 2 adults macam like terkejut, and Dabi pula, Shigaraki was holding some hands.
Oh.
So at that was when I think his power manifested and he didn't realize he killed people.
My God. And with
So
that,
like,
he will break through, unlock lagi. Oh,
Itulah.
I cannot wait. Nazir, apa harapan kau untuk episod minggu depan?
Okay, aku nak tengok some spinner punya action jugalah. I mean, for the sejak MVA ni macam spinner macam tak ada function sangat lah. I mean, come on spinner, do something. Come on. Right. And also aku rasa macam Shazli cakap, Dabi macam apa belakang ada Makia, bye bye. Not my problem anymore. You know, maybe Makia makan ke apa Geten ke kan.
Oh ya,
that will be fun, right?
Betul.
Kali kena tumbuk.
Okay.
Exactly. And also, aku rasa tu je lah aku rasa of course Shigaraki punya backstory will be much more. That's what we, you know, kita pun dah sampai ke penghujung season 5. So, we want to see more about it lah.
Yes, I can't wait. Seterusnya, Anri, what are your hopes for next week?
I hope we'll get a decent retelling of Shigaraki's punya backstory and of the things that happened to him that traumatizes him till today lah, and the tangan, all those things. A lot of you mentioned that All for One was lying to him, using him by manipulating dia punya backstory lah.
Yeah.
But have you ever considered kan yang what All for One actually did right was actually told him the truth tau. what if it's really what he said kan happens, because a lie is not as bad as a half lie tau. And a half lie cannot stand against the truth. So maybe what we're gonna see, I'm not gonna say if it's true or not, is going to be the truth of what All for One cakap, or is it just part of the truth that All for One is using against Shigaraki? So this would be the first taste of things to come.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Agak cryptic tu. Agak
Cryptic. I'm planting the seeds of doubt lah.
Nah, because it's true. I never considered it that way. You
Yeah.
imagine if the whole story that All for One mentioned was actually true. So he's using the truth to control Shigaraki. Like, kan mati orang nanti kan. You're like, aku tak nak. I mean, whether or not he got abused, like my previous speculation, that one will probably be revealed lah. But imagine if macam Anri kata kan, if that was the truth, maybe that's why Shigaraki at this point of time, dia tak nak recall the truth because it's something that is very traumatic. And that's why it's true. Ooh, this Saturday is going to be fun.
Yes,
I'm trying to plant seeds like Kathleen Kennedy during the Star Wars movie, with the part apa yang Luke Skywalker standing next to Kylo Ren masa tidur. Am I going to stab him or not?
Aduh, janganlah macam tu bah. Janganlah.
Saja.
Okay, guys. So, itu saja untuk minggu ini. Terima kasih kepada korang kerana menonton. Terima kasih juga kepada para panelis kita, Anri, Alwi, Kaki Manga, Shazli American, Kaki Anime, serta Nazir Khan daripada Screenbite Facebook page. Jumpa lagi di episod-episod BuzzPOP bedah yang lain. Majulah fandom untuk negara. Alright guys, see